Hello, my dear friends. I'm so happy to see you all here today. And just look what an amazing company from different corners of the world we have here today. Wow. So let's check if you can hear me and you can see me. Please, can you drop something in the comments if you can see me, if you can hear me? Great, thank you so much. Hello, welcome. Okay. Welcome, nice to meet you. So, I think we are ready to start, and it's 8 p.m. here in Berlin. It's almost night, and I guess most of you still have your day ahead, and just how lucky you are. I'm a bit, envious because you have the whole day to enjoy and to stitch something beautiful. So, we have two amazing sessions coming up, each about, I think, an hour and maybe 30 minutes, today and tomorrow. So, I'm very excited about the big, beautiful program we have planned for these 2 days. And as usual, today I want to start with a bit of history. So, if you have joined my events before, you know I always say that embroidery in the past it wasn't just a hobby to pass the time. It was a powerful tool, instrument people used to communicate, to make some statements, share some stories, and today we are stitching a beautiful basket with flowers. And I want to talk a little about the secret language of flowers that was so popular in Europe during the 18th and 19th centuries. And of course, I will show you some gorgeous embroidery samplers from museum collections, and we will discuss them a little bit. So, as usual. After this, I will show you materials for stitching, and we will prepare our hoops, and of course we will start stitching our lovely floral basket. And I hope you all have transferred your design onto the fabric, and you're ready to follow me along. We will try many interesting stitches today and tomorrow, so be ready. Our plan for today is to embroider a half of our design. Then you will have a little fabulous homework, and tomorrow we will have one more session where we will finish our embroidery, and I will also tell you about my academy because I know you have many questions about it, so we will discuss. Don't worry, everything will be okay. And about questions, so if you have any questions, you can write them in our chat. Today, as usual, we have our amazing Emily here. You know, she's my assistant for these events, so she will try to answer them all, and she will also pass some of your questions to me, so please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, I think we are ready to start with the beautiful history of embroidered flowers and bouquets. So I need to open my presentation. Just a second. Okay, so I hope you can see it now. Okay, so As I already told you, in the 18th and 19th centuries, flowers were used to send some hidden messages. So in Europe, each flower and each color had a specific meaning, and people used them to communicate emotions and messages. So women stitched these floral motifs onto sampler, handkerchiefs, some garments, and they were sharing their feelings without saying a word. Yeah, so embroidery became a conversation in thread. Okay, so each flower and each color held a specific meaning. Yeah, so women stitched these floral motifs onto samplers, yes, onto garments. So yeah, they were like sharing, yeah, their ideas, their thoughts, I don't know, everything, yeah. So how this worked? In Victorian England, young women were not allowed to openly express romantic interest, so they stitched roses on handkerchiefs or samplers and then they gifted them. For example, a red rose stitched on the corner of a handkerchief meant I love you. And for example, pink rose signaled I admire you. So these pieces acted as a silent love letters, and sometimes a young man would respond by wearing the handkerchief visibly in his pocket at church, for example, to signal back that yes, he understood. Yeah, so the popularity of this flower symbolism led to creation of entire books dedicated to the language of flowers. Okay, so these books helps teachers, artists, and just young people choose flowers with the right meaning, with the right sense, yeah, for gifts and for embroidery, of course. So I have put together a few of the most popular historical flower dictionaries here for you, so you can see such beautiful illustrations. And I don't know, just look at how beautiful these books are, because now it's just exciting how they were used, just like, we have these emojis right now, yeah, so they were used just like emoji guides of the past, and they helped people share love, friendship, hope, or whatever they wanted, yeah, for flowers. If you want to dig more into these books, just let me know and I will send you links, because it's very interesting, and I think it's a whole new world to explore. So let's look at some flowers and find what are their meanings in these lovely dictionaries. Flower number 1 is rose, yeah, and meaning of the rose is love, passion, and admiration. And you can see that the meaning also depends on its color, yeah. For example, a red rose is a true love, and a yellow rose is just friendship, yeah. So here we can also see two beautiful examples from the Metropolitan Museum's collection. One is a dress border, so these white roses, it's a dress border worked in silk on silk, and the other is a pink rose on an adorable pink cushion. And I think you all know this technique. Yes, right? So it's a cross stitch, of course, and it's also done with silk threads. Okay, let's go to the next flower, and it is daisy. Yeah, so meaning is innocence, purity, loyal love. Yeah, so daisy were very popular in embroidery, and especially they were popular on gifts for children, for young women, because they were all about this hope, some new beginnings, something fresh, starting something, yeah. So here you can see a long gown made on white muslin, embroidered with very, very delicate white work. And here you can see handkerchiefs embroidered with heavy cotton, floral, also white work. And I don't know if you can see, but in the corner there is the word daisy on it. So maybe it was the owner's name, or maybe they simply wanted to highlight that the flowers were daisies. So unfortunately, we don't have more information about that. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And next flower is the tulip. So the meaning of the tulip is declaration of love and prosperity, of course. So just look at this gorgeous panel with tulips. Yeah, it's unfortunately it's an unfinished piece, and it was meant to be part of a curtain. And I don't know if you can see it, but the panel is done in the applique technique, and this technique was often used when you needed to fill in a big area, yeah, because it's quite quick to do with applique. And on the second photo, you can see this beautiful, delicate bouquet with roses and tulips, and it was embroidered on a fire screen. And I'm just in love with this soft, gentle shade, so beautiful. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And next slide is lily. The meaning is purity, virtue, majesty. Yeah, so lilies were used in embroidery quite often, and they were a symbol of purity, of love, and in some personal items they represented hope and maybe some kind of renewal. So I just love this cute tea cozy decorated with glass beads. It's so beautiful. Okay, let's go to the next slide, and we have here the carnation. So the meaning is fascination, love, distinction. Yeah, and again you can see, like, depending on the flowers we have different meaning here. For example, pink carnation is marvelous love, red carnation admiration, and white carnation pure love. So carnation were often stitched onto some small gifts, onto some samplers to represent family love, admiration, and all these things. So we have just explored how flowers carried hidden meanings in embroidery, and letting people share messages of love, of hope, friendship for their stitchers. But this tradition wasn't just for everyday items. So it found its way into the, these grandest occasions too. So I want to show you a beautiful example from history, Queen Victoria's wedding. So Queen Victoria's wedding bouquet included orange blossoms for purity and fertility, and myrtle for love and marriage. Yeah, myrtle is a symbol of love and marriage. Following her gorgeous wedding, every British royal bride has included a sprig of myrtle in her bouquet, and maybe you know, but this tradition continues to this day as a symbol of love and marriage, and even Kate Middleton carried myrtle in her bouquet when she married Prince William in 2011. And by the way, Queen Victoria, she was a real trendsetter, because she didn't just started this tradition of using orange blossoms and myrtle, but she also made wearing a white wedding dress popular, because before her, wedding dresses were never white. Okay, so she's a trendsetter. And you can see here on the photos her wedding veil. It's just so delicate, so detailed. And you can also see these orange blossoms here. So she make these flowers so popular that brides across the Europe, yeah, they began incorporating all these flowers into bridal embroidery on veils, on handkerchiefs, on samplers. So it became an entire era of floral symbolism stitched into weddings. Okay, I hope after seeing all this beauty, now you are even more excited to embroider with me, and yay, let's start making our own story with our own floral composition. As usual, feel free to use your own colors to make your flower basket special, okay, and tell your own story through it. And like especially now when you know all these secret flower meanings, okay. So I think we are ready to start stitching. So I want to show you what materials I have here, and then we will prepare a hoop together. So I just need to switch off my presentation and switch my camera so that you can see what I have here. Just a second. Okay, so you see I'm ready to stitch with you. I have here my fabric piece, and it's 100% linen, and it's quite dense. You see, it's not stretchy. So I love linen most of all. I'm a linen lover, but you can use cotton, you can use cotton linen blend or whatever you have at hand, but it's very important that your fabric isn't stretchy, okay? Because if you're just starting out and your fabric is stretchy, it could be hard, okay? So I do not recommend to start with stretching fabric. Okay, I have here my DMC cotton floss, and I really love DMC brand because they have lots of colors and the quality is just amazing. And these threads are smooth, they do not tangle, they have this beautiful shine, and they don't fade. Now I have here my embroidery needle, and I will use DMC chenille needle number 24. I hope you can see it. So you can take any needle you have, but ideally it should be sharp. So you can see it's quite sharp, and it should have a big eye so that you can thread it easily, okay? It's just more comfortable. Okay. Now, let's talk about hoop. So, my favorite hoop brand is Nerge, and I love that they are made of wood and they're not slippery. So, yes, and I have here my design. I already transferred my design onto my piece of fabric, and I hope you have done it too. So I used for this my Pilot Friction pen. It's my absolute favorite tool. It's a heat erasable pen, which is very handy, and when my embroidery is ready and I don't need the design outline anymore, I will just use a hair dryer and the outline will disappear just like magic. Also, I have my embroidery scissors here, but you can use any scissors you have. So, first we need to hoop our fabric with the design. So let's do this. Okay, so first I separate the two rings. Now I put this inner ring under my fabric. Okay, now let's, yeah, make it even. Okay, and now I just press it down a little bit like this. Okay, now I fix the fabric with the screw. You see it's a screw here, so you can use a screwdriver, by the way, if you have one. Okay, now I pull my fabric a little bit just to make sure it is, you know, it's like a drum. So I just pull the fabric in different directions, and it should be really, really tight. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, yeah, I hope you can hear the sound. Yeah, it's really like a drum. Now we are ready to start. So I want to begin with this basket element because it needs a lot of space around it, you know, to embroider, and it will be easier to embroider it first before we add any other floral elements around. For this basket we will use a beautiful darning stitch, and I want our basket to be a bit vintage, a bit shabby and maybe worn, and for this I will mix several colors in one thread. So I take DMC 840, okay, and I take DMC Ecru. So this is light brown and ecru or beige. So this is called a skein. This is one skein, okay, and each skein comes in 6 dividable strands. So I will try to show you. Just a second. So I hope you can see it. There are 6 strands, okay, and for different parts of our design we will use different numbers of strands depending on what we want to get in the result. The more strands you use, the bolder and more 3D your stitching will be. And you know, for example, in the academy we have some projects where I use 12 strands, and using fewer strands will make your stitching more delicate, more flat, more neat, okay? So for our basket we will use 6 strands, but 5 of them will be brown and 1 strand will be in this ecru color, okay? So I want to mix colors together. So I take DMC 840, and I cut a piece of floss, I think like this. I guess it's something about maybe 12 inches, so not too short and not too long. And let's cut it. And now we need to separate 5 strands out of 6. So we just need to separate 1, okay, and we go very slowly. We just pull, unwind. Okay, so we don't need 1 strand. So here we have just 5, okay, and now we need 1 strand of ecru. So I will just do the same size of my floss. Okay, and now I need just 1 strand. Okay, so yes, 1 strand, and now we put them together. Okay, perfect. So you can see now it's a beautiful mixture of colors. Now we need to thread the needle. So this is our needle. I moisten the end, one end of my floss, like this, and I just put it inside the needle's eye, just like this. Okay. But threading a needle can be hard sometimes, especially if you are really new to this, and especially with 6 strands we are using here. So there are special helpers, and they are called needle threaders. They are very, very different, but they all can help you do it easier. So I want to show you one. So I think it's a DMC, yeah, and you see we have here 3 needle threaders. So I will show you how they work. For example, let's try to use this one. So we just put our needle here. Now we take our floss and put it inside this loop. And now we just push. Okay, you see? It's done. And let me show you, we also have 2 more. Here I will use, I think, the smaller one. So again, our needle is here. Okay, we take a thread like this and we push, and we are ready. Okay. So please don't worry if you get stuck here. It's totally fine. You just need more practice. Sometimes a needle threader helps, and sometimes you just need to change your needle because maybe your eye is too small. Okay, so maybe you just need to change. Maybe you need some magnifying, maybe you need glasses. Yeah, maybe you need magnifying glass. So magnifying lamp, so whatever, yeah, just don't worry, it's okay. Now I make a tiny knot on one, okay, you see, on one edge of my floss, like this. And let's cut it, we don't need this. Okay, perfect. So we are ready to embroider our basket. I want to use my hoop stand so that I can keep my hoop steady and you can see every stitch clearly. And you know, hoop stand, it's an amazing tool that I really suggest getting if you plan to embroider. So it's very helpful because it frees your left hand and it makes stitching easier, and especially some, you know, tricky 3D stitchers. And believe me, your back will be so grateful to you. Okay, now we are ready to start. So I can be a bit fast when embroidering, but please don't worry, you can always pause the video of a session if you need to go slower, and we will have a recording too. All the registered participants will get the recording, so please don't worry, you can catch up later easily. So please just relax, enjoy, and let's have fun tonight, okay? So basket. For the basket, I want to use a beautiful darning stitch. So we bring our needle up here and we go down somewhere here. We just do a very long straight stitch. Okay, now we go up really close, but you see there will be a little gap. Okay, so we need a little gap, and we go here. Now again I go up right here, very close to my previous stitch, but we leave a small gap between the stitches, not too big. And now we just continue like this. We need to fill in the whole area of our basket. Okay, let's do one more here. And darning stitch, I think many of you know this stitch. It's a beautiful stitch and it has such a lovely history. So it's one of the oldest embroidery stitchers, and archaeologists found it in the textiles from medieval Europe to ancient Egypt, so it was very, very popular. And you know, back in the day, cloth was precious and people didn't just throw things away, because they had a hole. No, instead they used darning stitch and darning to patch and to weave over worn spots. And this gave socks, linens and clothing second life. And also, you know, in the 17th and 18th centuries, young girls often practiced decorative darning on their samplers. They were, of course, learning how to mend beautifully, but they were also, with these samplers and with this darning stitch, they were showing off their skill. So it wasn't just about fixing things, it was also about showing off their skills. And today I think darning is having a bit of comeback, and I love that so much. Maybe you have heard about this visible mending trend, or maybe you have even tried it yourself and it's so amazing. Okay, so we have almost finished our vertical stitches here. Okay. Let's go up here. And 2 more stitches and we are ready. Okay. So I need to do 2 more stitches here, straight stitches. Yes, I hope I have enough floss. Let's try. Yes. Okay. Great job. Now we need to fix our floss here, of course. So I will show you how to do this. Okay, so you see some stitch here, and I just go with my needle under this stitch. I weave in my needle here and I create some kind of loop, and I go with my needle inside this loop and just pull it. Okay, I can do this one more time just to be sure it is fixed really well. Perfect. Great job. Okay. So half of our basket is ready. And now it's time to move on to the fun and tricky part. So again, we need 5 strands of DMC 840 and 1 strand of ecru. So let's separate strands. So I need 5. Okay, these are my 5 strands and 1 strand of ecru. So I will do the same size. Okay, and now separate just 1 strand out of 6. So let's do it one more time, very slowly. Embroidery is a slowly process. Okay, great job. Now let's combine them together to have this beautiful mix of colors. And of course we need to make a knot on one edge. Perfect. Let's cut this out. We don't need this. And let's moisten another end a little bit, make it a bit sharper, and put it inside our needle like this. Perfect. Okay, so now we are going to create the horizontal lines. So let's bring our needle up somewhere here. And now our task is to weave this thread over and under our vertical stitches, okay? But one trick I want to share with you here is to do this with your needle going over and under with the back, okay? Eye forward. So we will be doing it eye forward, because this way it will be easier to weave without piercing your fabric underneath, yeah? But you can try both options, okay? Maybe you will find it easier to hold the needle like usual, okay? But I recommend to try. So let's go. We go over this and under this, over, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. Okay, let's go here. Perfect. And now we just push it a little bit as we want it, okay? And again, so we go over here, under, over, under, over, under. Okay, great job. Okay, now let's push it a little bit. So, and we go down under this to fix this row, okay? We go down. Okay, perfect. Now we go up here, very, very near. Oops. Okay, so you see here we went over. So now let's go under. So we go under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay, let's go. Let's pull and fix it a little bit. And let's continue now. Okay, great job. So we are just going over and under, over and under. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky. Okay. Now let's push it a little bit. Yeah. And let's go down. Oh, I guess I have a little mistake here, so it's okay. I just go back and unwind it and do it one more time, okay? So embroidery is a very forgiving craft. If you did any mistake, you just stop, unwind and do this again, and it's totally okay. So let's do it again. Okay. Okay, perfect. No mistakes here. But still, it's okay if you made some mistakes here in the weaving, because you know it's a basket, okay? Even in the basket, it's a handmade basket. Yes, it can have some imperfections in weaving. So, okay, let's go down. And again, we go up here. Okay. And so we do it all the same. We fill in the same basket with this darning stitch, okay? Yes. What I love about embroidery, you know, is that there aren't many rules. And, you know, it's not about rules at all. I think it's more about experimenting. It's about trying to find your own ways of, you know, doing things, okay? And discovering what works best for you. And I think it's, you know, it's amazing to learn some basic techniques to help you get started, of course. But once you feel a bit more comfortable with stitching, there is so much room to explore and to find, you know, methods that work for you and only for you. I think it's a non-stop creating process where you discover your joy, your style, I don't know, yourself. Okay. And you know, I do embroidery recreation projects and I read a lot of old embroidery books, and I can tell you with confidence, every master, every embroiderer had their own style, their own rules, their own technique, and their own way of how to do everything. So I think we also have this privilege, right? Why not? Okay. Perfect. So let's fix it here. Okay, let's go up again. It's, you know, quite a meditative process when you understand what to do here. I love darning stitch. Okay. And you know, if someone tells you that there are some strict rules in embroidery, like you have to double your fabric, you have to start your stitching this way or that way, or you must separate strands, or you must not, you know, just don't believe them, okay? There are no fixed rules, and you are free to do whatever feels right and convenient. Okay, so embroidery is a free-form craft. And you can invent your own techniques. You can even invent your own stitchers, yeah, and your own ways of doing things. So don't be afraid to experiment. Okay. And let's go. So this darning stitch is such a beautiful feeling stitch, so you can feel in so many beautiful elements with it in any design. And I really love it's not only a decorative stitch, yeah, we can really use it. It's a very practical one. My thread just ran out of the needle's eye. Yeah, it can happen sometimes. Okay. Okay, so just to remind you, please do not worry if you are stitching slower than me. It's totally fine because I embroider every day. I embroider a lot, of course. Like, I just can't do it really slow. I'm sorry. So, but you know that you can always pause the video, you can start again, you can watch the recording. So please do not rush. Embroidery should be a slow, mindful process without race. You know, it's not a race. Okay, so we have almost finished our basket. I hope you love darning stitch. Okay, let's push it a little bit. So this will be really tricky. These two rows will be tricky because we don't have much space here. Yeah, so we can struggle a little bit, but it's okay. It's all worth it. So, and again we go up with our needle. And let's do this beautiful weaving. Okay, I think we have one more row here, maybe. Let's see. Okay, great job. Yes, and we have one more row here, so let's do this. Oh, it's so cute. Just look at these. So this stitch also, if you have this hoop holder, hoop stand, it's easier to do when you have two hands free, okay? Because if you need to hold your hoop with one hand, it's much more complicated, it's a little bit more challenging, so I really recommend to invest into some hoop stand if you can, and if you're planning to embroider. Oh, I made some mistake here, so let's unwind one more time. So let's see what's wrong here. Okay, so I guess its mistake is a bit earlier, so let's unwind. It's okay. Mistakes are okay, it's the way we learn things, so please be kind to yourself. We all do mistakes, no matter, like I'm stitching for almost, I think, 5 years, and I still do a lot of mistakes, but I'm okay with this, you know? It's just an essential part of the process. So just take it easy. So we need to go under here and over, again under, over, under, over. Yeah. Perfect. Great job. Now it looks beautiful. Okay, almost done. And a few more stitches here. Perfect. Great job. Now it's time to fix it here. And let's make a knot as usual at the back side. So you see how neat? It looks like a running stitch from the back side. So let's go with our needle under this stitch. Now we have a loop here and we go inside this loop with our needle. Okay, and now we just pull, push. If we want to, we can make 2 knots, okay, just to be sure everything is fixed, our weaving is fixed. Perfect. Now it's perfect. Okay. Okay, great job. Just look at this stunning texture. It really looks like a real basket. And you can see how the mixed colors give our basket a bit of that, I don't know, charming, shabby feel, yeah. And now you might notice that the edges of our basket aren't very even, okay? So to fix this, we are going to add a delicate outline around our basket, okay? For the outline, I will use just 2 strands, and again, I want to mix colors here. I will use 1 strand of DMC 840 and 1 strand of DMC Acro. Okay, so we need just 1 strand of each color. So let's make them of the same size and just 1 strand of each color. So 1 strand of brown color, perfect, and 1 strand of Acro. Now we separate, so we have separated them, and now we mix them together. And for this outline stitch, we will use stem stitch. So I will show you. Let's thread our needle. So stem stitch is a very simple basic stitch, and as you can guess, it's perfect for all kinds of stems, of course, but also for outline. And there are several techniques you can use to embroider with it, and today I will show you 3 different techniques for stem stitch, 3 different options. But let's start with the first one, and later you will tell me which technique you like the most, okay? So let's start, for example, from here. So I go up with my needle, I go down, so it looks like a straight stitch almost, yeah? And now I go up somewhere here in between, okay? Now let's pull the thread. Perfect. Now let's do 1 more stem stitch. So again, I do a stitch and then I go up somewhere here and I just pull the thread. So you see, it's a beautiful outline for our not very even basket. Okay, great job. Let's do 1 more. So we go down here and we go up somewhere in the middle of our stitch and we just pull the thread. Okay. Great job. So it's a corner here, be careful. So let's do our stitch. And now I go down here in the corner a little bit and I start from here like I started here, okay? So I go up. Oops. It was the same hole, so let's do 1 more stitch. Yeah, perfect. And you know, if your basket isn't perfectly even and neat, please do not worry. You know, baskets are always made by hand, right? So they are never ever perfectly even. That's handmade work, okay? And we are also creating something by hand here. It's also handwork. So any little imperfections, just add some character to your design, right? And you know, also, for example, in nature, you will never find something that's completely perfect and even. So we are embroidering nature here, right? So your stitches don't need to be perfect. Yeah, I know, it's complicated. And you know, about perfection, we are not trying to be perfect here. We are not making masterpieces or artwork for exhibition, I don't know, for some art show. Our goal today is just to enjoy, just to make some progress, okay, no matter how small. And every stitch you make, it's a step forward, okay? So those little imperfections are just, you know, just show that you are learning and you are growing, okay? So there's something to be proud of and not to be ashamed of. So I think what really matters is that you're putting your needle to fabric and creating, and the most important thing is not how your work looks. I think it's about like you are doing it, okay? You are doing it. So that's the most important. I think, you know, each project you finish is a big, big victory. So just keep going, keep stitching, keep enjoying it, and you know, your skills will get better over time for sure, like 100%. They will get better, but for now, I think we just need to focus on the joy of creating, on feeling good about finishing our projects, okay? So we just do one little step at a time. So please be kind to yourself. I know it's not easy. It's never easy, but just try. You're all doing amazing, I'm absolutely sure. So you can start from here, or I will jump here just because it's more convenient, yeah, for me. But you can just continue this line here. Okay, great job. So I love this outline. Stem stitch is amazing for outlines, it's amazing for lettering. You know, it's also a very old stitch, ancient. Okay. We are almost there. Just a few stitches away from finishing our gorgeous basket. So you can experiment with stem stitches here, with the length of your stitches. You can make them shorter, you can try to make them longer, and just to see the effect. So don't be afraid to play around with stitches a little bit. Okay, great job. Now let's fix. Yeah. Let's fix our thread here. So we do all the same. We go under our, we weave in under our stitching, we make a loop, and we go inside the loop with our needle. Okay, I think it's enough here. Okay, so our basket is almost ready, and we still need to embroider the basket's handle, but we will do that after our floral elements are ready. So now I want to move to our florals, and I think I want to start with this delicate branch here. It's very simple to embroider, and we will use stem stitch again, but I will show you another technique, the second option for stem stitch. And I want to use satin stitch for my leaves. Okay, so we will train with satin stitch a little bit. I want this branch to be very, very delicate, and I'm planning to use just 2 strands of DMC 3032. Okay, and it's a dark brown green shade, very rich shade. Okay, so I need to separate just 2 strands. Let's do this. Okay, let's separate just 1 strand. Great. Oh, not 1 strand, sorry, 2 strands. Yes, we need 2 strands. Just a second. Let's separate 2 strands. Yeah, 1 strand, it won't be enough. Too delicate, you know. Okay. So again, we need to thread our needle and to make a little knot on one edge of our floss. Okay, so let's start from here. Okay, and I will show you how to do this. So we go up and we do a simple straight stitch. Okay, now we go up somewhere here, for example, and we go with our needle under our previous stitch, right under, somewhere in the middle. Okay, so it's another technique for stem stitch. So let's do it once again. So we go up and now we go under, yeah, somewhere in the middle. So you can also vary it a bit and go under closely to your starting point, or you can go under closer to the finishing point. The texture of the stitch will look slightly different. So again, don't be afraid to experiment. Okay, so let's go under our previous stitch. Great job. And one more stitch here. Perfect. Yay! So our stem stitch is ready, and now I won't fix my thread here. I will jump right to this satin stitch. So I will use, of course, the same DMC 3032, yeah, and I want to use satin stitch, and I'm sure you have probably tried this stitch before, or at least you heard of it, as it's a very popular stitch and you can find it, I think, in almost every embroidery design. So let's give it a try. I bring my needle up here and then I go down somewhere here. Now I bring my needle up again a little bit lower this first stitch, like this, and here I go down a little bit lower this stitch, okay? So a little bit lower here, a little bit lower here. Now I go up at the other side, okay? Also a little bit lower, and here I also go a little bit lower. Great job. Let's do one more stitch. Okay. And one more here. Great job. So you see, so we follow along this line, yeah, for our leaf. Great job. So I will fix my thread here, because you know my fabric is white. It's a little bit beige, creamy white. So if I do not stop here after this, it will be very visible, so it will be not very neat backside. So I prefer to stop for each leaf here, okay? But if you are embroidering on some maybe dark, I don't know, dark blue fabric, yeah, you can jump. So you can jump from one element to another element. Yes, you will have some threads here, of course, some lines here, but the most important thing is that they are not visible from the face side, okay? So be careful with this. Okay, let's do one more leaf. So I go up, I go down, somewhere here, for example. And I go up a little bit lower. And I go down here, and once again. So these leaves are really tiny, and they're so great to practice a little bit of satin stitch. And those of you who have joined my stitch alongs before, you know that I'm not a huge fan of satin stitch, right? Because on the one hand, it's a very, very simple stitch, because it's just like, you know, series of straight stitches next to each other, nothing special. But on the other thing, yeah, to make it beautiful, you have to make it really neat, and it's not that easy. It's a tricky stitch, I think. Okay, so let's do more leaves here. So again, I think here I will not stop, yeah, because it's just a very, very tiny, so I will show you. It won't be visible. So I jumped right here. Let's see the back side. You see, it's a tiny, tiny jump here, so it's okay. It will be still very neat, so it's okay to jump here if the distance is really tiny. So satin stitch takes a lot of practice, so please be kind to yourself, okay, with this stitch. And you know, many years ago, embroidery wasn't just like a hobby, okay? It was actually taught in schools as part of this, I don't know, mandatory education. And you know, honestly, I think it was a brilliant idea, and I don't know, maybe some of you even had embroidery classes at school. Let me know in the comments if you did. So, you know, in earlier times, kids learned how to sew, how to embroider from, I don't know, from a very young age, because, you know, I have seen so many gorgeous embroidered samplers in museums made by 5 years old, 7 years old, and by the time they were like 10 or 11, their skills were incredible, just incredible. You just wouldn't believe it. And I really think we need to bring this tradition back into schools today, because it's such a valuable, it's such a valuable skill to learn early in your life. I think it teaches so many things, like patience, I don't know, perseverance, mindfulness, and I don't know. I think it gives kids the ability to create something beautiful, and with their own hands, so I think it's the best kind of education and such an amazing foundation for life, for I don't know, for everything. And I think it's such a pity that schools don't massively support this anymore. I don't know, maybe in some private schools you can still find these embroidery lessons, but I don't know. I feel like kids today spend so much time on gadgets and they don't use their hands to create so much, which means these skills are getting lost. And these skills were so important throughout history. Like I think somehow they are part of our cultural code or something. Because people were doing it for thousands of years, people before ours. But I just guess that with all these, screens and social media, kids are just getting further away from what they naturally did for centuries. So that's a pity. Okay. Let's do one more stitch here. Great job. So beautiful satin stitch. But by the way, good thing I have noticed lately. So when my members start getting into embroidery themselves, they really get involved. Something amazing happens with their kids and with their grandkids. So I will tell you. They see that their mom or grandma are sitting with a hoop stand with some beautiful threads, and they are working passionately on something. They're attending some stitch meetups. I don't know. They're creating beautiful designs, and kids get curious. Okay, because if someone is doing something very passionately, you're always curious, like, what is she doing? And they start asking, what is this? What are you doing? Like, can I try it? Can you give me a needle? And I think this is the best part. This is when my heart sings, literally. And we have so many stories like this in the academy lately, just every day. I don't know if Rita, my dear member, is here today, but her 10-year-old granddaughter not only started embroidering and creating her own really beautiful designs, but she even hosted a workshop. Can you imagine? Workshop for her friends, teaching them how to embroider, how to do these woven wheels. We will do it together with you, woven wheels. So it's a 3D stitch, okay? so she was hosting a workshop at 10 years old. So, oh wow, can you just imagine that? So, yes, I think embroidery was always something kids could absolutely do, you know, and it's such a precious thing to share this hobby with your kids or with your grandkids. So I think it's such a beautiful connection, you know, and when I hear stories like these, I don't know. I feel we are making this world a little bit better, you know? We are doing something really, really important here. Yeah, that's amazing. So it makes me feel so, so proud and so grateful, and it's just the best feeling ever. Okay, so we have almost finished our satin stitch leaves. Okay, let's add some stitches, a little bit of straight stitches here. Okay. And the last one. Great job. Okay, so a few more stitches here, and just look at how delicate is our branch, how beautiful it is. A little bit textured, but still very, very delicate. Okay, one more stitch here. Great job. Perfect. Okay, let's fix our thread here. Great job. So you see it's quite a neat backside. Okay, great job. I think we did such a brilliant job together, yeah? Okay, now I want to embroider one more element. So let it be this beautiful daisy flower. And guess what stitch we will use? Yes, it will be satin stitch again, but this time we will use a completely different technique, okay? Because here we use satin stitch for leaves and it's like in the shape of leaf, but here we have petal, and petal is completely another shape, okay? So it's another technique. So for this element, I will also use two strands, and I will use a creamy white color, DMC 3865. 3865, so it's a creamy white color, and I think it's one of my favorite colors. So let's separate two strands out of 6. Okay, we need just 2 strands for now. Let's thread our needle and make a little knot. Okay, so I start filling in the petal. Let's start from this petal, for example, with straight stitches, okay? But what I will do, I will leave a small gap between each stitch. So let me show you. So we go up somewhere here and we go down here. Now we do another straight stitch, but you see I left some gap here. Okay, so let's go down. You can see small gaps. Let's do one more and another gap, and let's do one more. I hope you can see white on white. Okay, so this is my first layer of my petal. Okay, so I will do one more straight stitch here, and now I will go back here, from here, yeah, and I will fill in the gaps with more straight stitches. Okay, so I do layering here. Okay, so I'm just closing my gaps a little bit. So, yeah, I will put, yeah, I need to close my gap, so I will do more and more stitches here. So this layering method helps create this very smooth, I don't know, sleek surface of your petal. Okay, so if you still have gaps or something is uneven, you can go with one more layer here until you are satisfied with your petal. So you see it's exactly the same satin stitch, but the technique is a little bit different, yeah? Okay, great job. Let's do one more. So again, I'm starting with some straight stitches and I have some gaps in between. Okay, and now we go back and we fill in these gaps with straight stitches until we are happy with the surface of our petal. Okay, great job. And one more here. So if you touch it, it's so smooth. Yeah, great job. Okay, so let's do one more petal. So I will start from here. So you know, I love embroidery because it's it tells stories, yeah, but I love it not only because of these stories, but I think when you are stitching, you put some part of yourself into your stitching, and it's not just about, you know, creating the design, but you're putting in some energy, some thoughts, some feelings, yeah. And what really amazes me is that this energy gets like sealed inside your stitching. And you know, when you look at really old embroidery pieces created by people who are no longer with us, for example, yeah, you can really feel their energy, and I think you can almost sense the person behind the stitches, and you can read a bit of who they were, through their work, through their embroidery work. So, I have this piece that my great-grandmother stitched over 100 years ago, and it's such a gift, it's a gift. And it ended up in my hands. I still can't believe it, honestly. And of course, I don't know her personally, and I don't even have a photo of her, and there is no photo, unfortunately. But when I look at her stitches, I feel so connected. I feel like I do know her, though I really know very little about her life. I have never seen her, but I feel her. And the stories my grandmother told me about her come alive with her stitching. I don't know how it's possible, but it's possible. And I love this so much. I don't know, I think it's a real magic. And this is one of the reasons I love embroidery so much. It just carries, stories, meanings, messages from the past. And it also gives us a way to connect with those who came before us. Okay, so we need to embroider 2 more petals here. So I'm separating 2 strands. And I think when we stitch, we're stitching a little, at least I hope so, we're stitching a little hello to our future generations, maybe, So I think many of you have these hellos from the past too, some pieces from your mothers or maybe from your grandmothers. And they're such a treasure. And I think when you understand stitching, when you understand the technique and how much time and care went into all these pieces, into every piece, you just start to understand the messages left to you, right? So you can feel that connection across time. So it's such a beautiful thing, I think. And embroidery is really a tool to, for communicating, with your family across generations, and for passing your own message to those who will come after you. So I love this embroidery magic so much. Okay, so just look at our daisy. It's almost finished. Just 1 more petal. So satin stitch, you need a lot of practice, okay, to make it even, to make it smooth. It's just practice, practice, and practice. So please be kind to yourself again if you are doing it first time, if you are doing it second time, so it's okay. it will come. If you practice, it will come. And it will look beautiful, it will look neat. Okay, so I want to put one more stitch, one more little tiny stitch here. Okay, and let's do this petal, and we are ready. I can't wait to see the photos in our Facebook group, to see what colors you're using, because I'm pretty sure all our floral baskets will be very, very different, with different color combinations, with different moods, you know, in different styles. So I already can't wait to see them all. It's always such a joy, such a delight to see all the possible variations. And just please don't forget to post your photos. Okay. And I want to put one more stitch here, I guess. Yes, great job. And one more here, and we are ready. Yeah, great job. Let's fix our thread here. Perfect. Okay, our gorgeous daisy flower is ready, and my suggestion is that we stop here for today, and tomorrow we will start exactly from this point. But you have a fabulous homework. So your task is to embroider this tiny branch. Can you see it? It's exactly the same, yeah, so you embroider it with stem stitch and with satin stitches here, okay? And this will be a great way for you to practice and really get comfortable with your new skills, okay? And also, I suggest you to embroider this flower, only petals, so it's exactly the same daisy. So you embroider this branch with leaves, and you embroider these petals without middles, okay? Just petals, just satin stitch, yeah? You just practice satin stitch here, okay? And tomorrow we start and we continue to embroider our other elements, okay? So tomorrow, yeah, we will start from adding French knots here and to our daisies, okay? To centers of our daisy flowers. And of course, we will explore other lovely stitches. Yeah, we have so many different 3D stitches here, so please don't miss together. Okay, so don't miss tomorrow, sorry. So, okay, I want to switch my camera to see you and to see everything. Just a second. Okay. So, okay, I can see you now. So, our next session is tomorrow, and we will meet at the same time here. I will send you a link to your email, so please mark your calendars, don't miss it. It will be a very fun session tomorrow. And I want to ask you, before we finish today, I want to ask you to share your work in progress in our Facebook group, because, you know, every time it's really so amazing to see how everyone is doing, and it also motivates and inspires me a lot to see your progress. So please don't be shy, do share. I will be very grateful, and after our session I will go and look at everything. So don't be shy if your stitches are not, extremely neat, not very neat. Don't be shy to share your progress anyway, because if you have done even one stitch today, it's already a progress, it's already a win, so it's all counts, okay? And we are not aiming for some masterpieces here. It's a workshop for beginners, right? Okay. So I will put the link to our Facebook group in the comments just below the video, so you can easily jump in to see what everyone is doing, and it's always very inspiring. We have such an amazing supportive community, so yeah, go and check it. If you have any questions, if you need any help, please don't hesitate to write me in our Facebook group or message me directly. I'm always here to help and answer all your questions. Thank you all for joining today's workshop. I hope you have a fantastic day ahead, and happy stitching! See you tomorrow!